Some crimes are ordinary. They follow rules, leave traces, and can be understood with enough investigation and logic. But there are those rare crimes that do more than challenge investigators. They shake the very foundation of reality, leaving everyone who studies them questioning how the world can work the way it does. This is the story of one such crime, a case so baffling that it seemed to break every rule we rely on to understand cause, effect, and consequence. At first, it appeared to be a normal crime, perhaps a theft, a disappearance, or an act of violence, the kind of case that usually fits a familiar pattern. But from the very beginning, something felt wrong. The crime scene resisted explanation. Evidence that should have told a clear story instead created contradictions, leaving investigators frustrated and unsettled. Signs of a violent act were everywhere, yet there was no clear point of entry, no timeline that made sense, and no way to reconcile the movements of the suspect. Witness statements clashed in ways that could not be explained by faulty memory alone. Some people were certain they had seen the suspect in 2 places at once, while others swore nothing unusual had occurred at all. Every new statement seemed to pull reality in a different direction. Investigators tried to piece the events together using standard procedures. They mapped movements, analyzed behaviors, and cross-checked statements. Every attempt, however, only created more contradictions. Surveillance footage placed the suspect miles away at the exact moment the crime occurred, yet physical evidence tied them directly to the scene. It was not missing information that caused the confusion. It was too much, all of it refusing to align. Even the most basic rules of time and cause and effect seemed to fail. Alibis were simultaneously solid and impossible. Actions that should have taken minutes or hours seemed to occur instantly or in ways that defied logic. The case stopped feeling like a puzzle and began to feel like a paradox. It was no longer a question of finding answers. It was a question of understanding how answers could even exist in the first place. Theories emerged. Some believed it was the result of an incredibly precise plan, combining manipulation, coincidence, and psychological pressure. Others argued that investigators were imposing logic on a situation shaped by human error, flawed perception, and unreliable memory. But even these explanations fell apart when faced with the stubborn physical evidence, which refused to follow any single narrative. The public became fascinated, not because of the violence, but because of what the case suggested about reality itself. If a single crime could defy logic so completely, what did that say about the stability of the world around us? Online forums erupted with diagrams, timelines, and speculative theories, all attempting to create order from chaos. Yet none of them could fully reconcile the contradictions, and each attempt only deepened the mystery. Experts from a wide range of fields weighed in. Psychologists highlighted cognitive biases, the ways memory can distort under stress, and the limits of human perception. Criminologists suggested rare but possible coincidences that could theoretically produce such an event. Analysts examined systemic failures, noting that when institutions make assumptions about how events should unfold, reality can appear to break when those assumptions fail. Each explanation made sense in isolation, but none could fully contain the contradictions that the crime presented. Over time, the case ceased to be about guilt or punishment. It became about uncertainty, about confronting the uncomfortable truth that reality is only as stable as the frameworks we use to understand it. When those frameworks fail, even seemingly simple events can appear impossible. Evidence existed, witnesses remembered vividly, yet no sequence of events could reconcile every detail without breaking fundamental rules of logic. The crime did not just resist explanation, it actively challenged the very tools we rely on to comprehend the world. Years later, the crime continues to be referenced, not as a puzzle to be solved, but as a reminder of the limits of certainty. It stands as proof that human understanding relies on patterns, and when a case refuses to follow those patterns, it can feel as if reality itself has been violated. What makes this crime unforgettable is not simply what was done, but what it revealed. That truth can fracture, that evidence can contradict itself, and that sometimes the most disturbing mysteries are not the ones without answers, but the ones that offer too many answers that cannot coexist. It is a story that challenges everything we think we know. It forces us to question not only the events themselves, but also the very way we interpret, observe, and understand the world around us. It leaves a lingering sense of disorientation, a reminder that certainty is fragile and that the universe can surprise us in ways logic cannot contain. If this story makes you pause and reconsider how fragile reality really is, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story that challenges everything you think you know. Sometimes understanding is not about finding answers. It's about learning to live with questions that refuse to be solved.